Michael Maggiore, class of 2000. For those that were here last year, you're well aware that we prayed for Michael each and every day following his accident, and we are very proud and honored that he could join us here today. So, Michael.
This is an honor in so many ways. There's such a wonderful attitude and heartfelt emotions in the room today. It's not just about thankfulness, it's having an attitude of gratitude. You know, you can say the word thanks and it just is a word, but when you feel it from your heart, that resonates. And I'm very thankful for my family, most importantly, and my good friends who fought very hard to get me to this point. It was a team effort. I say everyone, it took a village. And I mean that. And it's people like you that got me here as well. It's those prayers in the mornings, every day, that consistency, that's so hard, you know. 1 or 2 prayers in a week, that's one thing, but every day, you don't think about it. It means something. So, happy Thanksgiving. As you already know, we'll begin to learn today, I have a great deal to be thankful for. Something short of a miracle that I can stand here and speak before you today. It has taken so much, talented people, and most importantly, gifts from the Holy Spirit, that I'm alive to tell this story. I would like to take a brief moment to take you through a journey before and after my tragic life-changing incident on August 17th, 2012. Up to this point, I was living a very full life. Hard work, packed in many victories and defeat. But always at each stage of this life, I was striving to get the best version of myself. Exactly 13 years ago to date, I was a prep senior sitting where you are today. Right there in the gym bleachers, listening to a homily by the late great Father Barry. He imprinted me with a quote I will always remember. Breathe in and out, take in the good and expel the bad. By Dr. Seuss. In good, out bad. Well, that's simple enough, I figured. I guess that's why it resonated for me. It was a simple proverb to tell us to try and do the best we can to get the most positive out of every situation. Sometimes bad situations, you can get something positive out of it. The promise there, the advice, that was nothing more reliable than that. It was my hope in some way that my experience and brief exchange will leave you today with that same impact that it left with me from Father Barry 13 years ago. After graduation, I set out for a full action-packed journey, inundated with trials, trauma, learning, success, failures, love loss, and a genuine thirst for life. I entered Virginia Tech with a foundation of strong family values, respect for God, hard work, and knowledge instilled here at this institution. Most importantly, I learned from my mother and father that dedication is what it takes to make it. And that you can do something, but it's not what you do, it's how you do it. From this school, this institution, I became a man for others, a man of service. Service to God by helping your fellow man. Only then can you really share your God-given talents to the best of your ability. Maggiore Dei Gloriam, for the greater glory of God. I love quotes. They're important to me because a motto, you say it, you believe it, you becomes a part of you. Virginia Tech, with specific knowledge base in science concepts, I learned to problem solve as an individual, to make a viable contribution, to make the world a better place. By choosing an avenue of study through waste management, I chose science-based form to make an impact on people. Ut prosit, that I may serve. Interesting, I fell into a school with a very similar quote as this institution does. I love sports, particularly weightlifting, track, field, and football. It was a way of release for me and a discipline, for success does not come without goals. Hard work, dedication, and sacrifice paired with your God-given talent, you have the opportunity to become a champion. Well, I don't know if I was a champion, but I played my strengths and worked vigilantly on all my weaknesses. I trained and competed in the World's Strongest Man Amateur National Circuit from 2002 to 2005. I was the youngest ever to be a finalist. I was competing with the strongest men in the world, and it was not until years later did I understand really what I was learning there, that it's not always about the strength of the outside, it's the inside. Some of the most powerful people are special because of what they do on the inside, how they accomplish who they are, and how they process their mind to overcome a goal or challenge. Bill Kazmaier taught me, conceive, believe, achieve. If you think it, you have to believe it, and it can make it happen. Sometimes believing is the hardest part. Just the thought that something is possible. You can move this bus, even though they're not supposed to. Anything is possible with God. Water. By 2005, I embarked on a career as a waste management environmental scientist. I started in Columbus, Ohio, and traveled through the South and Midwest. I was stationed around landfills, factories, new and old, construction sites, and many contaminated properties. Thereafter, I returned to the garbage industry, which I saw the side of life no one wants to speak about, rubbish. By 2008, I returned home to my family business. And it was at that point my family helped me save my life again. I had gained 200 pounds. It was not healthy. I was about 500. I lost myself by neglecting my body. I disrespected my God-given temple and almost lost it entirely. The solution to heal my overweight body was to work on the inside. Get back to the basics. Eat slow and learn mindfulness. Good nutrition for my mind, body, and soul is the only solution. I have tried everything. I had tried everything else. Connect with the God inside myself and find the God in the hearts of those around me and come in contact with. Before long, I fell in love with myself and the world. With the right attitude and mindset, you can see clearer, you can see brighter, you can see straight. You're not as clouded. Set here, I had different interests. Besides sports and philosophy and, of course, our religion, I found Eastern methodologies fascinating. And always found it a different world. Someone lives totally different than us. How do they operate? So I set out to Asia to see the other side of the world. Most importantly, to find out what was going on in me. 3 months in Thailand and a month in silence fasting in a Buddhist monastery in Chiang Mai was no small undertaking. I found a spiritual awakening there. I learned that God has a plan for me, just as He does for every single one of us. There's a very important distinction. Our purpose and the personal dreams are two different things. Real happiness can only be obtained when you're living God's purpose for you. Just because you have a dream of winning the lotto doesn't mean that that's God's meaning for what you have. I returned home, and with a few months obtained employment with Sims Metal Management, largest recycling company in the world, while still residing in the New York area with access to frequent travel and near family and friends and the people I love. At the same time, I fell in love with girlfriend Lindsay in Chicago. Things were going well for me, and all of a sudden, life turned a terrible turn. Terrible now, maybe it will prove to be a success in the long run. On August 17th, everything changed. I was going through my duties assisting railcar loading operation. I leaned up to train cars, releasing the air brake, so each car would be movable. The supervisor spotter lost sight of me, and the operator did not see me. The cars jerked forward, but it was too late. I was crushed between the connectors. I felt more pain than I've ever experienced. I assumed at that moment my back, legs, trunk, and groin had been crushed, and I was going to die. My consciousness remained as my screaming moan of agony got attention from everyone around. The train cars separated and I collapsed to the ground. As the emergency personnel came to my aid, I said my goodbyes. I was engaged with extreme energy and a bright white light. It was my end and I was ready. As the emergency staff began to prep me for surgery, I told them I want everyone to know I love them very much, and I had to say goodbye. From now on, I underwent the fight of my life into a chemical-induced coma. The unconscious fight for my life began with 8 surgeries over 10 hours each, kidney failure due to the excessive swelling and the fluid. Infection set in, as did many nervous fits. Trach was installed with a breathing machine, feeding tube, colostomy, catheter, and serious tissue extractions. Nerves and muscles had to be removed. All soft tissue in the midsection was totally destroyed. As bad as things were, and how bleak I could still be grateful, the crush missed my spine by a few inches. I suffered no head trauma in the accident and received not one broken bone. I guess my large size and strength, plus a God-given intervention, prevented a tragic event from being devastating. I know, and I'm very thankful for the love that poured in, that prayed for my life. My mom and dad never left my side, sacrificing other aspects of their life and careers to tend to my care during and after the surgeries. My siblings and good friends took care of my business affairs and stepped up to the plate. My girlfriend Lindsay relocated to New York to be by my side. Without knowing it, God, as always, was working in my life to conspire to bring love to me and meet me strength when I needed it. Well, it was time to be pulled out of the coma slowly. Dreams, sounds, and thoughts, slurred combination of artificial reality. I didn't know who I was or what was happening. I didn't know whether I could breathe, sit, stand, or speak. Without knowing it, I was still fighting as God provided me the power to do so. As my condition stabilized, the debridements and anti-infection surgeries went onward, as it needed to be done consistently every 4 days. 102 pints of Months later, I asked the surgeons what made them keep trying. Why? I mean, this is just so extreme, so long, so many costly, so many risks. We work so hard, such risky procedures, to keep going. Why? He said, your heart just never stopped. You didn't quit on us, so we weren't going to quit on you. Surgical, life-threatening procedures turned into being healthy and necessary ones. Blood transfusions from blood drives, thank you. 102 pints of blood. I'm thankful to this day for the fellowship and prayers from my parish, St. Matthew's, and this alma mater. The prayers, cards, and calls, and love poured in, and so did my will to survive. God made sure it was not my time to leave this earth just yet. In and the people here in my life made sure I stayed. My moves were moderate and straight. The wound vacs would pump the fluid out off my body. I think about that, the movements I had to undergo for a nightly batch and shower. Just to think about the agony of loose hips without skin. My entire flesh and midsection did not have skin. It brought me to tears every day until the shower was over. Once it was time to move again, the grafted skin and pain was too much to bear. I had developed a strong tolerance to pain medication due to the IV many months before. 4 femoral artery transplants to help save my left leg ended up being life-saving. Each artery transplant nearly resulted in death, cardiac complications, or loss. But now it was time to implant a goal and a vision, because I was starting to get better. Lindsay was a big help for this. To see, feel, and imagine myself better, walking, and what I could do when it was time to leave this place. This was exactly what I had to do, or more importantly, what I did as a strong man, to visualize who and what you'll be when you can get to the next level. Whether it was possible or not, that vision was all I had. I made it to rehab December. I needed to continue on the same path, and I had a lot ahead of me. I could not sit up, stand, walk, or ambulate, and I had to get over wounds in my leg. My therapist at Kessler were another equally special group of people, able to see the forest through the trees and my potential to improve. Days were horrible, but my opinions were second to the fact, and one day at a time, and I will leave walking. It was an evolution of improvement. Whenever I felt sorry for myself, I would ask and say, why me? And a man came to me one day and he said, don't feel pity for yourself. The answer is, why not you? Tragedy happens to all of us. It's a part of life. Regardless of who you are or what you do, it happens. This was a philosophical shift for me, to move from a victim to a victor. Things happen in life, and no matter what, they happen to you. Just do the best you can and move forward. I pledged to my doctors and therapists that there's no other option. I have to walk again. It was my goal, realistic, possible at the time, but very finite. While we all had doubts, and facing an amputation possibility in March, complications, I went to the hyperbaric chamber 3 hours every day, forcing to sleep on my side, with no contact to the bottom of my leg. No pressure could ever touch the bottom of my left leg, or I would lose it. Well, I walked out the front door of that facility on July 18th, 2013, nearly 11 months to the day after my injury. And now, ready or not, it's time to face the real world by storm. I believe my experiences helped me taste of being, I believe my experiences helped taste of being prepared enough and going through what I did. You're never really prepared for something like this. I'm very thankful, though, for the strong foundation of experience built over my lifetime. It got me through such a brutal and horrifying experience. There were times of successes and failures throughout this recovery process, and they were surrounded by an attitude of gratitude and positivity. Thanks to my supports, especially my mom. When I was able to be thankful for my life the day, that love of my life, I was more able to focus on getting better. This season is a very special one for me because it reminds us when you can give thanks for who and what you have, the more likely you are to serve your fellow man in a better way. So, gentlemen of Fairfield Prep, I part you with something no more reliable than my own experience itself. For everything I've gone through, the greatest distance that I've ever traveled is from my mind to my heart. When my heart and mind work together, It's only then can you have true inner peace and be open enough to receive the Holy Spirit in your life. May God bless you all, and have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving.